One of the first actions of Joe Biden after his inauguration was to sign an executive order which allowed men to take the spaces, to occupy the spaces of women. That means people who self-identify, it's about trans rights, as he calls it, men who self-identify as women, that now males would be allowed in women prisons, in women's sport, changing rooms. This is very dangerous for a lot of women.
In prison, the determination should be that your sexual identity is defined by what you say it is, not what, in fact, the prison says it is.
And then attempt to wipe out and to ignore the biological difference between man and woman is very dangerous. Why? Because there's a biological difference which provides the attraction and complementarity between a man and woman, which is the basis of sexual life and of family life, for the procreation and upbringing of children, which is the basis of, from that we do education, culture, civilization. So the imposition of this dangerous trans ideology, which has already appeared in embryo form in Ireland, is very dangerous. Why? Because it does not allow women to their own spaces for sport, to compete. Men, biological men, have an unfair advantage in size, testosterone size and speed in women's sport, in that men would be allowed in a woman's prison is a clear and obvious danger that no one needs explained. And certainly about in changing rooms, certainly I wouldn't want any men or young men in the change rooms of my daughters. And I think that pertains to a lot of people. When they think of the consequences of this, let's call it PC madness, let's call it what it is, the logical, practical ramifications of this ideology, they can see it's very dangerous. And instead of sitting back and just letting it happen, because it's very important, the Irish Freedom Party will oppose and attempt to repeal any legislation in Ireland which has been brought in, which would allow the erasure of women, either in a legal sense or practically by allowing men into women's sport, women's prisons and women's changing rooms. It's a very silly idea with very dangerous consequences, and we will oppose it. We're not afraid of pushing against the PC agenda. We would rather be factually correct than politically correct. Trans ideology is a dangerous negation of biological reality. Women should be able to compete together without men, as they say, appropriating their sex and spaces. Women should have a right to their own sports, prisons and spaces. Children should be protected from trans ideologues who seek to sexualize and confuse them. Men should not be allowed to self-identify as women and take their places. It's unfair on women. My name is Hermann Kelly, President of the Irish Freedom Party. Go to Margaretsa.